Houston Texans did have a huge loss this weekend, meaning in Tank Dell. But the Texans finally got a true test, a true playoff type of game so far this season. They did lose Tank Dell to the dislocated knee after the 30-yard touchdown catch. But Mark, the question is, can the Texans win a playoff game? When you look at the Texans, Mark, they have been really hard to nail down this particular season, right? They've been up and down. They play up to the competition, but then they play down to the competition as well. Most of the day today, however, that offense seemed to click against a very stout Kansas City defense. Dalton Schultz was the X factor today. The defense for the Texans, Mark, has been key for the Texans all season long. They're the 4th-ranked defense in the NFL. And if the playoffs were to start today, right now, December 21st at 9:30 p.m. on the East Coast time, they would play the Baltimore Ravens at home in the wild card game. So, Mark, can the Houston Texans legitimately win a playoff game after you saw them play today?
I got to tell you, Buck, I don't got much confidence in them. They've kind of, like you said, they've been up and down all year. Like last year, they were a surprise team and they were dominating. They haven't been that same team as last year. So I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of confidence in CJ Stroud. Like, to me, I thought it was really weird that he was balling on the sideline just because his friend was hurt. I thought that was really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if kids are just emotional these days. I don't know. Like, I understand that the guy was hurt. It's not like he was dead or anything. So I don't understand balling. So he may be a little extra sensitive. So that kind of gives me doubts about him being tough and like. So I don't know, man. I don't have confidence in the Texans.
Yeah, just to talk about the uncontrollable sobbing on the sideline. As a football player, shit happens, right? You see people get concussions. You see people poop themselves. You see people break legs and arms and whatever, right? Now, I understand CJ Stroud and Tank Dell are very, very good friends. BFFs, as CJ Stroud said on X after the game there, right? But you saw other players trying to console him. Like, I don't care if you're a grown ass man or a teenager or a 6-year-old, right? It's spit and move on, man. Like, I understand that is your brother down and you know that his career may be over. Like, I get it. But damn it, you got to go out there and play. You got to come out and step up. And as a football fan, I saw that. I'm like, the Texans are done. And the Texans looked a shell of themselves after that, right? Yes, I think they ended up scoring another field goal, I think maybe. But the very next play, they missed the PAT. So that just shows you like how emotional CJ Stroud was. It shook the whole team. But like you said, the Houston Texans, they did overachieve last year, right, Mark? They overachieved, as I should say, and it honestly put a blind over a lot of their flaws, right? One of their biggest flaws is their offensive line is not very good. CJ Stroud is the second most sacked quarterback in the NFL. I have like 50 plus sacks, right? I think Casey posted it in our Pigskin punt and chat. It was like 56 sacks so far this season. Their offensive line is terrible. And when you have a bad offensive line, Mark, and you're going to go up against a defense like the Baltimore Ravens, yes, their defense right now is terrible. 31st in passing, right? But they have the number 1 rush defense. What does that tell me? That they're bringing guys up and they're letting you pass the ball. You do you, man, but we're going to stop the raw and we're going to make you one-dimensional. And CJ Stroud, once he gets to be one-dimensional, you're getting pressure in your face, you cannot win. We saw the Kansas City Chiefs put pressure on CJ Stroud. I think it was 2 interceptions a day, a couple really, really bad, arrogant passes, right? CJ Stroud is not a very good quarterback under pressure. And the Baltimore Ravens are the real deal. I kind of want to give too much away, but the Baltimore Ravens are the real deal. I do like what Lamar Jackson is doing this season. I'm a Lamar Jackson hater. I like what he is doing this year, right? He is doing good things. He's not the MVP. Let's just get that out of the way. He is not the MVP. Sorry, Lamont. You can go kick rocks, go kick your sofa, and try to race bait somebody else. But Lamar Jackson is not the MVP this season. Guys, it doesn't matter who the Houston Texans play. They can jump up to the 3 seed somehow, some way. And then they play the Denver Broncos. The Broncos beat them. and then the Ravens could beat them, and the Steelers would beat them. They have 3 potential matchups. All 3 of those teams would beat them. They don't win a playoff game at all. Mark, any additional thoughts?
No, I'm with you 100% on all of that. I think, like you said, I think him getting so emotional and everything, it kind of shows the downfall of their team. So I don't see them winning. They're going to get the playoffs because their division sucks. But yeah, they're probably going to be out in the first round.
Yeah, they are already locked. They already won the AFC South when your Broncos beat the Colts last week. But let's go ahead and jump into the comments here. Can the Texans guys win a playoff game? I'm saying no. Mark, you are saying no. Let's see what the people are saying here. Let's see what the people say. John B over here on youtube.com/manor says Sirianni has gone from brink of firing after yelling at Browns fans, now considering a Super Bowl amazing turnaround. Yeah, we can talk about the Eagles here coming up, John B. And Kaylee says, slow it down, guys. The Bengals will not make the playoffs. Chill. Hey.
They're kind of in desperation mode also, dude. I feel like, did you see Burrow on the sidelines last week? Him and Zach, their coach, and he was clearly pissed off, and they were winning the game, dude. So like that doesn't bode well for them either.
Yeah, I think Zach Taylor is out at the end of the season, anyways. But Alpha Rob says, slow it down, baby. Do not count the Texans out. So Alpha Rob. Here's the deal with the Texans, right, Mark? They play up and they play down to their competition. So clearly, when they play the Ravens or the Steelers or the Broncos, maybe, right? But let's say they play the Ravens like they're scheduled to as of right now. They would definitely play up to the Ravens. But then that tells me that the Ravens are going to have to go point for point, the Houston Texans are going to have to go point to point with the Baltimore Ravens. With no Tank Dell, with no Stephon Diggs, their only 2 big threats are Dalton Schultz and Joe Mixon. That is not a recipe for a winning team. I'm just, sorry, a spade, right? That's just not a recipe with a winning team. Mark, can Dalton Schultz be the X factor again versus the Ravens and potentially elevate them? Like, I just don't see it.
I'm with you, man. I don't think they have a lot of weapons. And like you said, I think the most important thing, Buck, is like what you said about their O-line. Their O-line is terrible. Like if he doesn't have time to throw, he's not going to have time to throw to the whatever receivers he does have. So like they don't give him time. That's not going to be a good mode for success.
Yeah, it's just you got to have a little bit of time to throw the ball. John says, true, but there will be a spoiler against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know who you're talking about. I must have missed something there, guys. WBN says, I can see the Texans losing to the Chargers. If somehow, some way the Chargers move up to the 5th or 6th seed, right, and they end up playing the Houston Texans, yeah, I just don't see anybody in the AFC playoff picture right now that the Houston Texans could compete with, right? Because the Chargers are not very good. Let's just be honest. They're not very, very good team. Texas will play down to them, and they'll forget how to play the ball in the second half, and they'll get blown out. That's just what it is. And Katie says, "Man, I hope the Bengals beat the Pittsburgh Steelers." Jeez. And Laura says, "You just got to put some dirt on it and move on." As far as Tank Dell's dislocated knee, right? Yeah, just walk it off, Tank. You don't need your knee to walk. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you definitely got to. I understand the emotional aspect of it, right? I definitely get it, right? Seeing somebody get hurt sucks, Mark. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, like, come on. You get paid.
I know, man,
football.
but like, well, look, that is like, if that was my best friend and I saw him get hurt, I'm not gonna cry because he broke his leg. I'd be like sad for him, but I'm not gonna bawl and cry that he broke his leg. I'd be like, he's gonna be all right. He might not have a career no more, but he probably still made a lot of money still. So, like, I'm not gonna be like bawling and crying like he was on the sideline.
Yeah, just emotional train wreck, right? Nacho Gomez is in the chat. What's up, Nacho? He says they can win only if they play the Denver Broncos. Ooh, shots fired. Pew pew.
I thought me and Nacho were friends. What up, Nacho? What the hell, man?
You were.
We was.
Laura says, I think the Texans are a first round fallouts. Me too. I just honestly, it would probably be best for the Texans if somehow they could miss the playoffs. So like, yeah, I'm going to opt out of the playoffs this season. The Colts just go ahead and jump in there. But yeah, that is not going to happen. Laura said, I'd laugh and then ask if I was okay. Yeah, I'm that type of person, meaning the broken or the dislocated kneecap. But WB, one more comment before we move on to the Baltimore Ravens here. Says the Texans overachieved last year, but this year I can definitely see the first round exit. The only reason why the Houston Texans won a first round playoff game last year was because they played the Browns. Let's just be honest. Joe Flacco magic ran out, and they played the Browns.
It did.
Yeah. I mean, what Joe Flacco had like five interceptions like in that game, something crazy, and it carried over to this year. So it's just Joe Flacco is comeback player of the year. Come on, get out of here with that crap. Whatever.
Right.
Whatever. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on here.